What? What? No!
I can't believe we're still doing this, but we are, and it's time we continue talking about games. This time starting with,
You.
4.
Uno! Were you aware? I like playing cards. There's something about their basic, elegant designs that help them be so flexible. Not only can you use them for dozens of individual games, but there's a lot of different designs for the suits and face cards. I, for one, have a few decks of themed playing cards I like to keep as clean as possible. A shame the Zelda one is Japanese, so it's region locked. Ah well. Anyway, all of this applies to Uno card decks as well. Uno cards are colorful and don't need to display much information, so there's lots of room for design. You can't walk into any retail store without there being a whole rack of licensed Uno decks, filthy with various properties and artworks. I even have my very own Uno deck, which is this clean minimalistic deck by Warlson Oliveira. It's so sleek and readable. What's cool about the current version of Uno on Steam is that you can personalize your deck and playmat, and even the sound effects. The designs don't incorporate all the ones you can find on store shelves, of course, since this is made by Ubisoft, but it's still nice to see how far they can go. Uno can be a game about strategy and planning like any other card game, but I would argue it's more intentionally about sabotage. And if you remember what we chose for our M video a few days ago, we like sabotage in this house. If you've never played Uno, the goal is to get rid of your hand of cards before the other players do, and so naturally, plenty of cards in your hand will consist of ones that force other players to draw cards. You can also mess with them in other ways, like skipping their turn, reversing turn order, swapping hands, or changing the cards that can be played next. There are basically only 3 possible actions for every player turn: draw a card, play a card, or play a card that ruins the next player's turn. Heck, there's an entire rule that's more or less just pointing and laughing at one player. When you're down to 1 card, you're supposed to shout Uno so that everyone else will focus their efforts on you to stop you from winning. But if you don't shout Uno and the other players notice, they get to yell at you to draw a card. Hardy har, you forgot to shout Uno, and now we all have to keep playing. My old college roommates and I like to play Uno whenever we catch up. It's a great game for long stretches of conversation where not much happens, and then somebody throws down a draw 4 card, and the energy in the room turns to dynamite. Insults are hurled, bridges are burned, and we threaten each other's reputations. Anytime somebody shouts the word Uno, the entire game becomes a mad dash to bury that player in cards. They briefly become the villain, and the rest of us have to team up to defeat them with the power of friendship. And eventually, somebody else calls Uno, and that friendship is totally shattered and reforged against the new foe. I have a few memories of my friends calling me some of the most cutting, awful things you can say to another person. And then if I poke around in the memory a bit, I'll notice, oh yeah, they're holding Uno cards. That explains it. It's remarkable how such a simple game can cause such hefty emotional reactions.
I can't be certain, but I think Uno may have ended more friendships than Mario Party ever could. I don't have an exact measurement on this statistic though. Anyway, what's a game beginning with U that you hold near and dear to your heart? Let us know in the comments and we'll see you soon for V.